start the conference here. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this virtual funding announcement this morning. The City of Centura is very pleased to be able to host this event on the GoToMeeting app and live stream it on our Facebook page this morning. So I have a number of distinguished guests joining me this morning, including MPP Anthony Rhoda, MP Mark Zeri, MPP Vic Fidelli, the Mayor of Coleman Township Dan Theroux, and I think also maybe on the phone the Mayor of Cobalt, George Offer, and the Mayor of Blatchford, George LePage. So welcome, gentlemen. My name is Carmen Kidd. I'm the Mayor of Twister Shores, and I will be your master of ceremonies for this event. I also welcome the members of the press that are joining us virtually this morning, and there will be time for immediate questions after this event is over. And last but not least, I want to welcome any members of the public that may be joining us this morning via our Facebook page. So welcome, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. So I'm going to start it this morning by inviting the Honorable Anthony Rhoda, our Member of Parliament for Temiskaming, to speak first. It's always a pleasure to hear from a man that represents our area so well and has assisted me on many projects. So Anthony Rhoda, the floor is yours, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Carmen, and I want to thank everyone for being there this morning. Carmen and Dan, I understand George Rockmer and George LePage are also on the line. That's great. Welcome, and it's wonderful to see what's going on here. And I want to thank as well Victor Fidelli, my colleague on the southern end of Temiskaming, and Mark Zeri, my good friend on the west of me, who is in Nickel Belt, who will be making the announcement later on today. I just want to say, without giving too much away, how wonderful it is to see the three levels of government working so well together. And these are two projects that without support from all three levels would be very difficult to go ahead. I mean, they're large amounts. And what's nice to see is there are large amounts for smaller communities. So, and something we often hear is, well, how come the big cities get everything? Well, you know what? It's time, and we look at it and see that smaller communities have the needs as well. And this is a prime example of where all three levels see the importance of smaller communities and what we contribute to the province and to the country. So before I give anything away, I'm going to stop talking and hand it back to Carmen Kidd, and I'm sure we'll have a great announcement shortly.
Well, thank you very much, Anthony. Appreciate all your time there. And during these challenging times, it's great to have the support of you yourself and the Government of Canada. So appreciate all that. So our next guest, as you mentioned, is Mark Zeri, the Member of Parliament for Nickel Belt, who will be delivering his remarks on behalf of the Honourable Catherine McKenna, the Minister of Infrastructure and Communities, and the Honourable Marianne Wansett, the Minister of Women and Gender Equality and Rural Economic Development. So Mark was elected to the House of Commons in 2015. And we've been part of many events over the last few years between him and I, and we look forward to your comments here this morning. So, Mark, the microphone is all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for participating today. Bonjour, Annie, tout le monde. Merci d'être ici pour nous rejoindre à cette annonce vraiment spéciale aujourd'hui. First, I'd like to start by acknowledging that we're here on Robinson Treaty territory, the land where these infrastructure projects will be built, and the traditional territory of the Cree, Ojibwe, and Algonquin peoples, and also specifically the Madachewan First Nations people. So also, as mentioned, a special thank you to Minister Vic Fidelli. Thank you, Vic, for participating, and thank you for partnering with the federal government on these important municipal projects. Obviously, thank you to the mayors, Dan Theroux and Carmen Kidd, for all your work that you do in the area. And also a special shout out to your local MP, Anthony Rhoda, who can make the announcements because he's the Speaker of the House of Commons. Mayor Kidd, you'll remember in 2017 for this outside announcement, it was really cold and windy, and Anthony was announcing $257,000 for the Temiskaming transit system while his papers all flew away. So thank God he had some good staff that had a second copy so we could continue. So today we should be okay with this indoor Zoom announcement with no weather permitting us. So félicitations évidemment, Carmen and Dan, for your beautiful region and le travail que vous faites ensemble. C'est vraiment important pour développer nos communautés. These are unprecedented times, and this COVID, the impact that this is having on people. So we are cautiously but gradually reopening our economy with the work of the province here. So we have to remain safe and under these new realities. So collectively, through the efforts of many people in the entire region, we're trying to look at this new way of delivering services and supporting our citizens. So c'est grâce à tous les sacrifices et les décisions que vous avez progressé ici pour confronter ensemble l'épidémie. So this is why Minister McKenna, Catherine McKenna, Minister of Infrastructure and Communities, recently announced that we're adapting our infrastructure program and more of these types of funding programs. So open up more projects, more funding, and also offer a bigger share of the federal cost sharing, something that NP Rhoda and the Northern Ontario Caucus has fought hard to increase the federal portion of the infrastructure and lowering the municipality contribution. So thank you, Mayor Kidd, and I know you mentioned you met at several of the Phenom activities, and thank you for your advocacy and continue to work with NP Rhoda and the provincial government with Vic Fideli. As we modernize our transit systems and the infrastructure, it's really important that we look at the safety and the support. So when we look at visitors in Coleman Township, so I'm really happy to be here today on behalf of Minister Catherine McKenna and Minister Marion Munsef, and the Government of Canada is investing more than $4.2 million in year two projects. Alors, le gouvernement du Canada investit plus de 4,2 millions de dollars dans vos deux projets. In Temiskaming Shore, public transit users will benefit from this investment with new low-floor buses and also more shelters, and also a modernized fare payment technology will enable customers to use contactless paper and reloadable cards. So this is important. Comme ancien conducteur d'autobus de transport à Sudbury, il est passionné de voir les changements novateurs qui rendent la communauté de transport commun plus efficace. The township of Coleman, the single-lane La Rose Bridge will also be replaced with a two-lane structure. It's important for the safety and reliability for cyclists, pedestrians, and motorists. This is an important new bridge in the community that will be renovated and updated. So ces investissements félicitent beaucoup de travail ensemble pour développer une région plus prospère. So together, these investments will connect our residents and communities and make our communities safer. These investments, the Government of Canada is working closely with the province and the municipalities to make sure that we get these projects built quickly and make a difference in the lives of the area. So these investments will create jobs, improve the quality of life, protect the environment. So this, through the Historic Investment in Canada Fund, in Ontario specifically, $7.8 billion will be invested in 2,600 projects across the province. So this is an important part as we look at going through this pandemic, and the pandemic has also highlighted more reasons that we have to work together to make sure our communities are safe. So this is crucial as we move forward, and I want to thank the mayors and council for submitting projects, for working together with the provincial and federal government to make a difference in your residents. Alors, merci beaucoup tout le monde. Merci pour être ici durant l'annonce. Thank you. Merci, Miigwech.
Thank you very much. We're still live, yes. Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate all the great news that's going there. And on behalf of the Government of Canada, we appreciate all your hard work there as well, all residents of Northern Ontario. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to introduce a very well-known face in the provincial politics, Vic Fideli, the member of Parliament since election in 2011, representing our neighbors to the south, the riding of Nipissing. And he has had many roles in the Conservative Party and currently is the Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation, and Trade. So we welcome his comments this morning, and on behalf of the Honourable Laurie Scott, the Ontario Minister of Infrastructure. For Vic Fideli, ladies and gentlemen, podium yours.
Well, thank you very much, Your Worship. It's great to be here with all of you today from my constituency office on Main Street in North Bay. On behalf of Ontario's Minister of Infrastructure, my cabinet colleague, Laurie Scott, on behalf of Premier Doug Ford and all of the Government of Ontario, we'd like to extend our warmest of greetings to everyone here on this call. Today's announcement brings exciting news for transit services in Temiskaming Shores and for road and bridge infrastructure investments in Coleman Township. Last summer, after careful review, we nominated these two infrastructure projects under the rural and northern and public transit streams to the federal government for funding under the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. Today, we're celebrating with the approval of these projects that will renew and enhance Temiskaming Shores and Coleman Township and improve the quality of life for residents of the entire region. These two projects include, as you've heard, 5 new low-floor buses in Temiskaming Shores that will improve reliability and comfort for riders. The replacement of 4 bus shelters and 2 more new ones, providing passengers with greater safety and better protection. Temiskaming Shores will also benefit from a new fare payment technology that will allow customers to use, as you heard, contactless payment with reloadable cards. In addition, transit users will be able to use an app to track their bus in real time. In Coleman Township, the existing single-lane Royals Bridge will be replaced with a new 2-lane structure to improve safety and reliability for motorists, cyclists, and for pedestrians. This new bridge will support better traffic flow, reduce service interruptions, and improve emergency service response times. Residents and visitors will get where they need to go more reliably. In both communities, these enhancements will make trip planning easier and more efficient. So on that, the provincial funding is more than $2.7 million in addition to the federal and municipal funding. This is going to get people where they want to go, when they want to get there. So we're proud that our government made a commitment to invest more than $7.3 billion in transit infrastructure over 10 years through the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, or ICIP as we call it. Across the province, we're also investing $167 million in road and bridge infrastructure over 10 years through ICIP. We're also connecting people to places and jobs where they work, a medical appointment, classes at school, back home to their families, all on time. And I think we can all agree that moving goods to market and people to jobs is a critical piece of our community's economic growth and recovery, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. We're thrilled that Temiskaming Shores and Coleman Township have now been given the green light to move forward with their projects. The shovels are ready to deliver better and more reliable public transit service and bridges for our communities. This announcement today could not have been possible without the partnership and collaboration of all 3 levels of government. So we'd like to thank the municipal partners, Mayor Carmen Kidd, Mayor Dan Carew, for their advocacy, and our federal counterparts for joining in this funding these 2 infrastructure projects. We look forward to making many more announcements like this one in the near future, and we're going to continue to work closely with our federal government partners and our municipal partners to secure even more project approvals. Thank you, Mayor Carmen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fitzgerald. We see you every day in the press there, standing beside the Premier there, doing a great job and dealing with all the issues that COVID has brought upon us, especially our municipality and the rest of the world. So it's been a very busy time for everybody. So thank you very much for all your support there as well. Just a few comments from myself there. I mean, keeping our transit service operating between Cobalt, our neighbor to the south, and all through the city of Shores has been the main directive from our council. We recognize the need to get our people to their jobs and back home, to get our students to go to college, to allow our seniors to buy groceries and to get patients to their medical appointments. Many similar smaller communities in the north have given up their transit service, but we maintain that it is vital to our economy to keep investing in new buses, better service to our residents, and by improving our service delivery, we have seen a steady increase in the actual ridership over the years. With thousands of kilometers traveled every day, it requires a very rigid maintenance schedule and timely upgrades to our fleet. And with this funding, we shall ensure that we can meet our targets in the future. On behalf of our transit committee, our council staff, and the residents of Cobalt and Temiskaming Shores, I wish to thank Anthony Rhoda, Mark, and Vic for these announcements, and on behalf of Minister McKenna, Minister Maltzap, and Minister Scott. This will definitely ensure that our much-needed transit services in our area will continue and help our economy grow as we work our way out of this pandemic. So thank you very much. Now I'd like to invite Dan Carew, the Mayor of Coleman Township, to say a few words. I'll swing the microphone over to him. There we go. Dan, you're on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mayor Kidd, for hosting the event. So on behalf of Coleman Township residents, we sincerely thank you for the funding assistance in the construction of the new LaRose Bridge. The LaRose Bridge was built prior to 1909. Silver was discovered in our area in 1903. So when large silver veins were discovered by workers of the Temiskaming and Northern Ontario Railway, a full-scale silver rush was created, and the town of Cobalt sprang up to serve as its residential area. However, the legend of the Fred LaRose, his hammer, and the fox still persists to this day. In 1908, Coleman Township and the town of Cobalt produced 9% of the world's silver. By 1911, the silver mines have produced 31,507,000 ounces of silver, and in today's dollars, it would have a value of over $1 billion. The construction of the LaRose Bridge was most important during the early days, as it was a link between the mines and the township of Cobalt, as well as Hillbury, where Millionaires Row ran along the lakefront, which Carmen is still collecting taxes for this. The successful mine owners and managers lived in these beautiful homes, and many are still standing today in their grand splendor. The LaRose Bridge was as important then as it is today. With the reserves of the silver mines now exhausted, Coleman Township is host to numerous mining exploration companies in their hunt for the metal, cobalt, and diamonds, and numerous kimberlite pipes located in the township and the municipality of Glassford. The unique geology of this area continues to attract scholars from Laurentian, Carleton, Laval, and Queen's University, as well as the famous Hillbury School of Mines. Many of the former graduates of the School of Mines hold management roles, senior management roles in mines all around the world. The college and universities are also giving us a heads up in the understanding of our area, giving us new potential exploration targets. In addition, our new bridge will give us a reliable infrastructure for the transportation of the emergency vehicles such as fire and ambulance, as well as for the area residents. The Cobalt Coleman Historical Society will also benefit from the use of this new bridge for its many visitors to access the silver trails. So on behalf of Coleman Township, I sincerely thank both the federal and provincial government for their assistance. Your understanding and contribution to the supported project is not going unnoticed and is greatly appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate it. So this is very a much needed project for your community there.
It is, and it's an important project for the whole Temiskaming area.
It is. Thank you very much. So I think now we're going to open it up to the press to ask any questions that we have for speakers, and our IT fellow can maybe pass through. And John, I believe, is on the line.
Yeah, I've got. Hello?
Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Carmen. I'm just wondering, this is just nitty-gritty detail stuff. Do you have a breakdown per municipality, how much each level of government is contributing for this? For each project?
I do. I have a document in front of me.
Okay.
The provincial share is a little over $1.6 million. Mm-hmm. The federal share is 2.93, so $3 million. And the provincial share is 332,000. Not the provincial, the municipal provincial share is 332,000.
Right. Okay, that's for the bridge.
I could share the more accurate numbers later on, or Patrick on UCAO can supply you with the final numbers.
Okay. And what about for the transit service, Carmen? Do you have that?
On the transit, we've got $4.2 million from the federal government, as well as $2.7 million from the provincial government. It was the two announcements here this morning, so that will be over a 10-year period, and will help us replace the next 5 buses that we need in this area, and as well as do a lot of the capital upgrades to some of the bus stop and everything else that we need there, as well as some of the infrastructure we need to install on those buses for users to actually be able to pay with cards and that. So it'll work well for the learning college students as well, usually buy monthly passes and do that. So.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm good.
No other questions for the ministers?
Yeah.
FDs?
I think I'm good.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. Thank you, Diane. So,
Thank you.
so, any last minute comments or from either of the speakers? So,
Since it says speaker, I'll stand and say something. I just want to thank everyone again, Mark and Vic, for taking time out of their day for this announcement. I know it's not in your writing, but it does mean a lot, and I know both of you worked very hard for Northern Ontario and what goes on here. So you have very strong voices, and that is very appreciated. And of course, our Mayor Carmen Kidd and Mayor Dan Claroux, who are always there with their input and always willing to work with me and at the provincial level as well. And like I said when I first started, the important thing here is all three levels of governments working together and making things happen. And this is a prime example of that, where we get much more out of it when we all work together and come out on top. So again, thank you to all of you for being here this morning.
thank you very much, Anthony. So, I do believe this ends our virtual press conference this morning. And I want to thank Anthony and Mark and Vic for joining us this morning and bringing us all this great news this morning. And thanks also to Dan and George on the line, and members of the press, and our IT specialist, Brad Hearn, for setting up all this communication with us this morning, and the public for joining us this morning as well. So I hope everybody enjoys the last few days of summer, and hopefully everybody can stay safe, and then we'll get our children back to school, and we'll proceed with the fall session there. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.